Yo, what's up fam? It's LoreGainz, and today we are breaking down this past weekend's Lorcana meta, and there's a lot to cover. Charlie's collectible show 11K just wrapped up, and I've got the winning list just for you guys. We're also going to check out some of the top performing decks from other major events and a few spicy lists that turn head this week. And real quick guys, don't forget to enter my Quest to 10K giveaway. Rules are going to be down in the description below, so hit that up while you're here guys. Let's get straight into it. Purple Steel BROOMS. Never thought I'd see the day where Purple Steel BROOMS wins Charlie's collectible show, and SID was the MVP. Christopher Baxter, big shout out to you. Congratulations. Awesome performance this weekend. So SID is the card that stands out the most here. SID's ability says when you play this character, if you have a broom in play, you draw a card. So he draws card. He also has 3 willpower, so he survives a storm, which we all know there's a lot of storms running around in green steel and amber steel songs and aggro. His second ability says if you have 2 or more brooms in play, he quests for 3. So he's questing for 3. He's like a piglet that draws you a card and has an extra willpower. Very, very good. You know, the crazy thing about this character is that you can bounce it back with your Madam M Fox. This is an aggressive but efficient deck. The only removal they're running is Fire the Cannons, Strength of a Raging Fire. They don't need a lot of removal. They have all the tools they need to combat aggro with the combination of Smee. We have the Snake to bounce back the SID. We have Fox to combat aggro. We have the Crabs. And to close out the games, we have a lot of characters that gain you lore out of nowhere. Merlin Goat, Giant Cobra, and of course the Doc that can be bounced back by Snake and Fox so you can redraw 2 more cards. I love the list. Congratulations. Whew. Let's hop into our next list that topped this weekend. First one being Green Steel in the house as usual. This is looking very straight up, very generic, powerful with the chip, the discard package, the singers, the Diablo, Beyond the Horizon ×2 with the Prince John. RIP guys. What a meta, right? And this is our second first place from another massive tournament, Glim House Carabaret at the Mulligan Challenge. Massive tournament. Over 170 people, I believe. Is it the exact same replica of the last list? Possibly. Kind of. Looks the same. So the cool thing about the chip forecast that got introduced to set is that he comes down on 4. You have Prince John on 3. Chip comes down on 4. And notice that they did cut down on the Ursulas. The reason for this, I think, is because you're not really looking for those songs early in the game. And if you are, of course, you're going to play her out. But I see more value in playing out a Pete or a Prince John on 3, maybe a Pete on turn 4 or on turn 3 to stop songs. Then we can also shift into our Pete, which is going to stop most Amber Steel decks right in their tracks. If they can't sing, it's pretty much game over for them. So I really like this combo with the Pete, with the chip coming down. Chip can't be Peated. So chip can get played on turn 4, trigger the Prince John, like for reals, like straight up, just slap it down. Nothing's gonna stop the chip from incoming. And Zero the Hero, of course, we reviewed this card and we went into a little more depth in deck review with Zero the Hero, one of my favorite content creators. So check out his video on his channel tomorrow. He's gonna be posting it tomorrow, so check it out on Tuesday. We did a podcast together as well. Well, congratulations, Glim. Good stuff, man. Decks are looking very scary. A lot of discard in the meta, as we expected. This is Ruby Amethyst, a fan favorite. What stands out to me here is the Cusco, maxing out on the Crabs. Why are we running so many Crabs? And Peter Pan, because Amber Steel is everywhere. Amber Steel aggro is everywhere. And these are ways to fight it back. We need evasives. We need rush. We have Elsas. We have Bells to also banish characters. Madame Medusa. Very interesting to see Madame Medusa making a comeback. And I think she's very clutch into this meta too. She can banish Diablos. She can banish Ursulas, Ariels. There's a lot of very juicy targets for the Mana Medusa. Of course, we are running the Shark because we are on the evasive, high on the actions package, and the library draws free cards, get you lore for free. Very good stuff. TSR Makoya, shout out to you at the White Rabbit Community Game Store. Cool. Mulligan TV again. This is Amber Steel Song. So this is the song variant. We can see that they're running the Goofy. I think the Goofy is really cool. Zero and I talked about Goofy triggering a SME to ready the SME after he's received damage, which can be very clutch. A healed SME that is also ready is very dangerous. The Rhino can also benefit from the Goofy's ability. And if you don't know what the Goofy does, he says at the end of your turn, you may remove 1 damage from each of your other characters. Ready each character you heal this way. Readying characters is a broken mechanic in this game. So hats off to you, Goofy. Way to put in that work. Only at 1 copy. The Cinderella at 1, just to show your opponents that you do run her. Criminal Mind at 1, and that is a lot of bricks, guys. Brick City. We're building houses here, and they're not getting blown down by the big bad wolf. Honey World at 4, Zeus at 4, Grab Your Sword at 1, Beyond the Horizon at 2. How many uninkables are we running here, guys? We're not running Daisy, which is good, or else that would be a lot. So we're currently at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 uninkables. Okay, that seems pretty typical. 18 uninkables for this type of deck for Amber Steel Songs. Shout out to you, Neo, the chosen one, Neo, the chosen one, at Mulligan Challenge. Cool stuff. You know what else is pretty crazy right now? Ruby Sapphire. And you know what else is pretty crazy right now? They don't run anything from season 8, from set 8. Nothing from set 8. Straight up Maurice's Workshop, Fishbone Quill, Sapphire Coil, Vitalis Sphere, Shield of Virtue, Popsicle. All these items are putting in work in this deck, and Tamato is closing it out. They run removal as characters, which is very powerful. We got the Sisu, small and big, the Maui's Hideaway for, I'm guessing, locations and opposing item decks. If you seal their Lucky Dime, or if you seal their Maurice's Workshop, you get rid of it, then it puts them in a really awkward spot. But you can find anything you need with the Vision of the Future, because it digs you 5 cards. You can choose whatever you want. You can find your missing combo piece, your Maurice's Workshop, so you can start drawing everything you want after that B prep. You ramp, you clear their board, you draw a bunch of cards with Maurice's Workshop, and you're winning, guys. After that, you're winning. That's it. GG's. Once you get that engine rolling, the Maurice's Workshop, insane. And they're running 4. So they're ramping. They're ramping to their B prep, to their board clear. Belle is, I think, fantastic for the aggro matchups. She stops them dead in their tracks. Nothing really can combat an early Belle, except for maybe a shifting Rhino. That's pretty much it. But shout out to you for 3rd place, Tsubasa at the Mulligan Challenge. Awesome stuff. Cool. Amber Emerald, more discard, guys. I got you guys. You wanted more discard? You wanted to see Prince John? I got you. This is the place. This is the place to be. So they're running the full set of Prince Johns at 4. They're also running You Have Forgotten Me. Of course, you got to run You Have Forgotten Me, because on turn 4 ink, you're going to slap this down. Your opponent loses 2 cards and you draw 2 cards. Painting the Roses red draws you a card and decreases your opponent's strength 2 characters by 1 strength. So that way you can sing Under the Sea, which is a very, very broken song. If you can board clear, you're pretty much in a good spot. And it looks like everything panned out really well for PD Bennett at Playing Ducks. Tramp and Chip are the only 2 characters, or the only 2 cards from this set. I think it works. I think the Tramp is really cool. I don't know exactly how. If you know, Mr. PD Bennett, please let me know your insights on this deck and how it pans out with the Tramp. I'm thinking Tramp can draw you a bunch of cards, find you your missing combo pieces, so that way you can play your Under the Sea, or you can play your discard, or you can play your Prince John. Whatever you need, you're able to dig and find it. Very cool. I like the Gaston on that one. Chip, of course, puts in a lot of work coming down after the Prince John on turn 4. And scary, scary stuff, guys. Let's go into our next deck list here, which is red purple, first place, Eddie Martinez at Lorcana Friend. Shout out Lorcana Friend. Awesome, awesome content creator, organizer of events as well. Expanding your horizons. Shout out to you. More power to you. We're running the Diablos, the Brooms, the Cuscos, lots of Cuscos. Why? Because Cusco with an extra 3 strength from a crab equals 4. 4 strength into a Daisy Duck, clears her out. 4 strength into almost any early character, clears it out completely. And what is this? Lumiere at 4. If we can give extra 3 strength plus the 1 from Lumiere to our Cusco, what does that take out? The Rhino. Rhino, Dino down. What else is interesting in this list? Again, Medusa. We see Medusa making a comeback. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about Medusa making a comeback into the meta? Is she needed? Does she come in clutch? Probably came in clutch for Eddie Martinez because he got first place in a massive tournament. I think this was 70 people. Hades, 7 cost from this set. The Hades, if you're not familiar with this dude, he says when you play this character and whenever he quests, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours and draw 2 cards. Draw cards, deal 2 damage, buff up your... Oh, they don't run Queen. You can hit whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. You have Bell to do some redirecting of damage shenanigans. Put it on a Rhino, maybe. That's pretty cool. Hypnotic Strength. For some tradesies, Hypnotic Strength gives Challenger +2 to a chosen character, plus you get to draw a card. It replaces yourself and it helps you with very powerful trades. A Diablo with Challenger +2 is scary, a 1-drop Diablo. Running the Brawl, the Finder's Keeper, so you can redraw some cards. Of course, the Maui's going to be at 4. Awesome job, Eddie Martinez. Congratulations to you. We're going into our next Amethyst Steel aggro. First place at Conflux Inc. Clash. Wayz won. Wayz? Like Dragon Ball? Anyways, let's see. What do we have here? Palace Guard is a 1/4 Vanish. Great target for Crab. I love all these Crab targets. And it's necessary because, how we mentioned, there are a lot of aggro decks. Aggro is always very, very prevalent, very abundant when a set starts. And with that new lady, of course, we have to play the aggro. And aggro's been doing really well. But the crazy thing is that none of the Amber Steel decks made it into top 8 in the Charlie's Collectible show. Anyways, I'm rambling enough. But the new Genie's a 3/4, gains evasive during your turn. I love the artwork. It's very cool. Awesome stat line. Takes down Diablos. And also, I think this Genie fits really well in a Jafar deck with the lamp, because it can give you the bounce regardless. Giant Cobra at 2, Lena Sebring, which is an evasive 1/3 cost. Exert, deal damage to 1 chosen character. So she stays in play, and you're just exerting to deal 1 damage, and she's inkable. She's like a better Robin Hood. You guys remember Robin Hood, the 2-cost Robin Hood? Uninkable, 1/3, I believe. And she's evasive, so once she exerts, they can't do anything about it. That's so cool. I love it. And it's purple steel, so it's specifically for purple steel. I like that they're running the Robin Hood package, again, to fight the early aggressive decks. Panic is a new character from this set that says when you play this character, you may move 2 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. He's like a cheaper Bell. He's questing for 2, he's a 2/3. Again, very good into the Rhino, because you're moving. You're not dealing damage, you're just moving it, redirecting it. A lot of Amber Steel hate. It's fair. If that's gonna be, prevalent in these tournaments, then you gotta counter it. You gotta counter it, guys. This is where we start getting into the spice. We're starting with green, red, very, very spicy spice. Zero and I talked about this deck too, which is very, very cool. It's a discard. Shout out to Ramalex at Mulligan Challenge. It is a discard. They're running a full set of Prince John's. Tigger. Why is Tigger so cool in this deck? He's evasive, and his ability says, whenever you play an action, this character gets +1 strength and 1 lore this turn. Something nasty that we thought about with this Tigger is, if you end up playing Dream Scenario if you play, while Tigger's in play, you know, he already dried up and everything, you have an improvised, you play an improvise, targeting Tigger, undermine, targeting Tigger, and other random action. If it's improvised again, you're gonna boost your Tigger by at least 3 strength. You're gonna give him 3 lore because of the 3 actions, and he's gonna have a bunch of strength. Let's do the math here. Say you do improvise twice, that's 2 strength. Undermine, that's 4 strength. And that's 3 actions. That's 3 more strength. 7-4 Tigger questing for 3 is insane. Plus, when you do the 3 actions, you can play a Lilo for free, ready your Tigger, and challenge into something with 7 strength. Oh my goodness. And if you have Ursula in play too, Zero's idea, it just gets even crazier. Crazy, crazy stuff. But very cool list. Only 2 Maui. Only 2 Maui. I think they don't want to ink too much, which makes a lot of sense. Where those balloons come from, that's so weird. Jumping into our next list is Desperately Aggro by Isaías Barrera. Lorcana friends. All right. What's different in this list? Lady. Gotta play the lady. Gotta play the goofy, apparently. Desperate plan to draw some more cards. And we're also playing Doc. So there's a bunch of ways of drawing cards. And the reason we're running Mulan draws a card and discards a card is so that you can dig and find your draw pieces. Find your draw pieces, and if you get stuck with 2 Desperate Plan, Mulan can discard the extra one. Vinny is a very interesting character. His ability says, 3 cost uninkable, 1/4, and during your opponent's turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, you gain 1 lore. So if you're doing your aggro thing, just questing with all your characters, they're exerted and vulnerable. When they challenge into them, you gain 1 lore. Lilo, if she comes back exerted, they challenge it, gain 1 lore. Vinny has 4 willpower, so if you storm it, he survives. You have to strength it for 4 or Zeus it. It feels bad to Zeus, poor little pigeon. Awesome stuff here. And it is a mind deck. It is a diggy diggy hole mind deck. Shout out to Candio. Let's move on to our next deck list. Emerald Amethyst, Top 32 by Markel Winsk, playing Ducks Home, Masters 5. This was an interesting list to me. It had a high spice rate, and that is because they're running the Honey Marin, which isn't super typical. They're running no Shift Diablos because they're not high on the actions, which makes a lot of sense. But it's a very aggressive deck. Running Merlin Goats, the White Rose, Honey Marin that also gains you a lore when she's played. Also running the Cursed Merfolk that quests for 2, Gogo Tomago, and Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, which gains you 2 lore by paying 2 ink. This is My Family, gains you 1 lore and draws you 1 card. So there's a lot of ways to gain lore out of nowhere. I love it. Way to play with the spice. Shout out Mark. Sapphire Steel, here we go. By Ink Zorro, top 64, playing Ducks Masters 5, same tournament from last. This is not Diggy Diggy Hole, this is, that's right guys, Ally Gang. This is Ally Gang. What's cool about this? There's a bunch of allies, and those happens to be one of my favorite decks. Playing the Marie, whenever this character quests, you may give chosen character -2 strength this turn. Also an ally, Mr. Arrow's an ally, Smee's an ally, Penny the Orphan is an ally. Whenever you have a hero character in play, gains ward. Alice is our hero character. So whenever Penny has Alice in play, then Penny can quest. Or then Penny gets ward. Also, Jasmine is a hero, so you can also give him ward. Magic Carpet, ally Pete, you need the Pete, very necessary in this meta. Zipper is also an ally, Pluto an ally. Jasmine is the way you draw a bajillion cards. Also the Doc. So the cool thing about Jasmine, I'm bummed out they're not running Jasmine Shift, but Big Jasmine says whenever this character quests, if you have no cards in hand, you draw a card for each ally you have in play. I'm a big fan of this card because whenever she quests, you know, a bunch of allies, it's gonna redraw as much as you can. I like that they have the sail in here as well. And the Tipo is great because if you're stuck with an extra Jasmine or an extra Doc, you want to ink that away. Shout out to you, Ink Zorro, for the spice. Thank you for bringing that into our lives. Top 16, Morph Cowbell by Scott Funny JK at Reign of Jafar Safari Zone. Do they all wear safari hats at the Safari Zone? Probably. What's cool about this deck is that it's not discard, guys. That's right, you heard me. It's not discard. They're playing Clarabelle. They're playing Morph, so they're shifting. That new character, Lewis, what does Lewis say? He enters exerted. When you play this character, you give chosen character reckless. So freaking good. He's so good. He's 4/3. So he's gonna trade with a Diablo and survive. I love that. I think that's so cool. Big fan of this character. Also running the Beast for some draws, the Pete, because he's very necessary into the song decks. Tinkerbell, you want to shift and challenge, maybe sing a song, which you think. Clarabelle to redraw you some cards, a bunch of removal, and Under the Freaking Sea. Oh my goodness. Cool stuff. I love it. Funny. Mr. Scott Funny JK, shout out to you. Let's hop into our next list. Here we go. Amber Ruby, not Mufasa. This is songs. Let's get into it in just a sec. But shout out to TSI Ita and NJDS. La Rochelle, they are running no 1-drops. They don't care about 1-drops, but they do care about healing, drawing cards with Rapunzel. They do care about playing Prince John, which is a 3-cost 5/5. Whenever your opponent plays a character, deals a damage to him. He's a 5/5 on 3. How insane is that? You play a Goofy, you quest with the Prince John, you ready your Prince John at the end of turn with a Goofy's ability, because Prince John is most likely going to have a damage counter because your opponent's going to be playing characters. It's very cool. I love the combos. Medusa's in here so she can banish some characters. Maui's in here because he's a powerhouse. And Wreck-It Ralph is going to help you close out the games. Or just slap it down, get you back a Rapunzel and Ariel. Yes, the best 2 princesses. And Wreck-It Ralph is going to gain you 2 lore if you add back a princess from your discard. We're playing Teeth and Ambitions because Rapunzel works really well with it. And if you ping your queen, she goes up to a 4/4. Queen goes up to a 4/4 if she has damage. Let's see, what else is pretty cool on here? I like Look at This Family. You can dig for whatever you need. Be King Undisputed is a song that you can find with your Ariel and you can recycle with your Shark. Be Prepared at 3, Pirate's Life, because Maui Shark loves to sing a Pirate's Life. Cool stuff, man. Shout out to you for the sauce, man. Emerald Steel, why is this deck so cool? Top 64, MTM, Tonkof at NJDS La Rochelle. I think this is France. I'm pretty sure this is France. The coolest thing about this deck is the Hades. Why is the Hades so cool? The Hades 4-cost says, exert, banish one of your characters, play another character with the same name as the banished character for free. What if you have a Mickey in play? What if you have a Cinderella in play? You can banish him and play their bigger counterparts. If you slap down a 10-cost Mickey, good luck. Good luck. 10-cost Mickey is a bodyguard, 10/10, quest for 5, costs 10 ink, and says whenever this character is banished, you deal 5 damage to each opposing character. He is a swords on steroids, a bodyguard on steroids. Somebody needs to test this mouse. Cinderella at 3, because you can play her out for free if you have the Hades, or if you're Mickey Mouse is at 4. So the Mickey Mouse from last set, if he banishes a character in the challenge, you can play a character for free from your hand. Oh my goodness, this is very saucy. Imperial Bull, because we need to run that evasive hate. Good stuff, man. Love it. Sapphire Steel from the Mulligan Challenge, top 64. What's cool about this deck is the running down in New Orleans. What's cool about that song is that when you play down in New Orleans, aka Dino, you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck and play a character of 6 costs or less for free. What are the targets? Tinkerbell, Ariel, Robin Hood, Cogsworth, Beast, a bunch of very powerful targets. And you can sing it with your Kit Cloud Kicker. We don't have access to Naveen, so we're just using Kit Cloud Kicker. And who else can sing it? I guess Ariel can sing it. Miss Bianca can also sing it on turn 5 after she dries out. We have a bunch of allies in the deck, so she's definitely going to be played out for 2 ink. We run a whole new world in case we run out of cards. Grab your swords is fantastic, paired up with the Tinkerbell. This list is very, very saucy. Shout out to you, Ita, at the Mulligan Challenge. Let's move into our next list, Ruby Steel Mushu Challengers. Oh my goodness. The scale, Nick Lorenz, shout out to you at Lorcana France. The spiciness scale was off the charts with this one. Let's read off some of these characters. Let's start with the Coachman. He's a 2-cost 2/2. While you have 2 or more characters of yours exerted, this character gains 2 strength and gains evasive. A lot of your stuff is going to be exerted because they're either challenging or questing. Most of the time challenging, and Fazul likes when you challenge. He says whenever your character challenges another character, if it's the second time this turn, gain 3 lore. What a power play. Gaining 3 lore just like that. We're also running the new Mushu, which says exert. Chosen character gains rush this turn. He's a 2/3, and he does have a shift target. Cricky says while you have 2 or more exerted characters in play, this character gains 2 lore. So he can quest for 3. He's a 4/3, trades really, really well. Goofy can gain you the lore. Mulan can rush and challenge ready characters. Mushu, of course, can skyrocket your lore just by challenging. Namari can draw you cards and discard. I really like the direction of this deck. And of course, we're running the shift. So many new cards. So many new cards. They ended up getting top 64, but I want to give him a big, big shout out for being brave enough to run this deck at a massive tournament of that scale. I think it was over 70 people. Desperate Plans at 4, One Last Hope at 4. Oh my goodness, drawing cards with Queen of Hearts. That looks very fun. Very, very fun. You know, the cool thing about that new shift Mulan, the 7 cost that shifts for 5 is that you have the new Mulan as a shift target coming down on the next turn, or you have the 1 cost Mulan. Good stuff. Let's hop into our next deck list here, which is second place, the Horseman, 4 Horsemen by Joe Blade. This is the new Blurple. This is the new Blurple, guys. Monstro, a bunch of Hades, a bunch of whales, ramp, popsicles, friends, a lot of drawing cards in this deck. And it's very powerful. And a lot of people were playing Blurple and topping. So Blurple has made its way to one of the best decks in the format. Blurple, Ruby Amethyst, Red Blue, Amber Steel, Green Purple, Green Steel. Nothing much has changed. I dug deep to find all these meta decks just for you guys. Next deck list, Amber Emerald, Zegan Buck at Playing Ducks made it top 4 with dogs. Who let the dogs out? This is so freaking cool. You know what my favorite card for this deck is? This new set brought us Tramp, which is a shift for 4, 6 costs. During an opponent's turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, you may draw a card. Oh my goodness. If you are playing Steel, if you're playing against Steel, you slap down the Tramp, there is not much they can do. Dealing 8 willpower is no joke. While you're exerting your stuff or while they're getting banished, you're drawing cards. So I really like this in the deck. I also like this Lady 3 cost, which is a shift target. Also the 1 cost, the 2 1 costs are a shift target for the Lady. You play the Lady, you get back some characters of 2 costs or less from your discard. Very, very nice. Next deck list here. Another Sapphire Steel. This one's a little different. It's more of a tempo deck. Kiwi, if you might say. Top 8 Sapphire Steel MCG Abel. Congrats for your top 8 at Ducks Home Masters. They're running a lot of the draw discards. I think they just want to find the missing pieces and get rid of those uninkables like the Doc or the Desperate Plan. The Simpa and Mulan help you achieve that. Smee's running the Alice because she's one of the best aggressive tools. And after the Alice, of course, you need to slap down the Pluto. Running Jafar at 4. Why are they running Jafar? Because, let's go back to the Rhinos. If you're playing against somebody and they slap down a Rhino, they quest, then they're super confident you can't get rid of the Rhino because you have a Smee or a Calhoun in play. Well, unlucky for them, you're going to play Jafar, boost your Smee or Calhoun by 2 strength, bringing them up to 5, which is the perfect strength to banish a Rhino with no damage because they have resist 2. Look at that math, guys. We're learning math on this channel. Chimpo, because he's one of my favorite characters, of course. That's the only reason why they put it in this deck. Cogsworth, Amber Steel's Nemesis, Amber Steel's Achilles heel. He slapped on a Cogsworth. They're like, GG's. It was nice playing with you. Robin Hood for 4, Baboom, because you don't need a singer. You can play it out and get rid of their 1-drops. If they have like a Cindy, or if they have a little Rhino that they're planning on shifting, and you can just get rid of it before it happens. Desperate Plan to Draw and Mid-Duck Manor. You protect that thing and it will win you games, guys. Let's look at our last list, which is Amber Steel by TSI MAGMA, or Magma, if you may say. And they're running 4 Goofies, guys. Holy smokes. They're really plussing off of that Goofy with the Smee. This is also Diggy Diggy Ho with Helga Sinclair, the Lawrence, healing any of these characters and readying them. So good. Rhino, you heal it, you ready it. And you know, a really cool thing about Helga Sinclair is that not only does she counter the Diablos, she also counters a Genie. She has 3 Challenger +3. And Helga Sinclair can't get banished by a Storm or a Strength, because usually they have 3 characters in play. If they deal 3 damage, it's not enough. Plus, they don't want to leave your characters with damage. The cool thing about Helga is she can challenge a Genie. You can also play a 7-Dwarfs Mine or a Storm and take out the Genie. Genie is a huge threat because of its 4 willpower. It's questing for 2, and it replaces itself on play. They're running the Piglet. They're not running. They chose not to run Lady. I respect it. I think Lady's broken, but I respect they're not playing it. They're running the Dock and the Rapunzel for draws. And I think the biggest flex in this deck is the Goofy. Love to see the Goofy in action. I wish I could play it. I haven't yet. I haven't tinkered with it yet, but I will soon. Stay tuned for that, guys. And that is it for our deck list. Big shout out to you guys. And if I did not mention you in any of these games, if I did not mention your deck list, please let me know what you played and how you did down in the comments, please. I want to know how every single person did. Thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.